so, diciamo sì. Second. Yeah.
I got a lot of debt coming up.
Enjoy. We should have a little track to see when they join for the financial report.
Okay, welcome back everyone. We'll reopen the meeting from lunch at 1:30 p.m. Just quickly for anyone tuning in online, we did have some technical difficulties there that occurred while we were going through item 12.2, resulting in the cessation of the live stream. So we will redo 12.2 on the agenda. 12.1's fine? Yep, okay. So 12.1 needs to be redone. 12.1 needs to be redone. So for all of confidential business back through, do we get the moving out of confidential motion through? Yep, okay. So we'll go back to 12.1, which is the Planning and Environment Court Appeal number 3181 of 2025. Move Councillor Clifford, second Councillor Wright. The motion that Council delegate to the CEO the power to attend to all matters relating to the resolution of Planning and Environment Court Appeal 3181 of 2025. I'll put to the vote. Those in favour? The motion is carried unanimously. Moving to item 12.2, the Planning and Environment Court Appeal number 2192 of 2025. Move Councillor Clifford, second Councillor Simpson. The motion that Council delegate to the CEO the power to attend to all matters relating to the resolution of Planning and Environment Court Appeal number 2192 of 2025. I'll put to the vote. Those in favour? The motion is carried unanimously. Item 13.3, purchase of land Bowen. Move Councillor Wright, second Councillor Collins. Okay, the motion that Council is satisfied that acquiring a parcel of land in fee simple in Bowen is necessary or convenient for the performance of Council's functions relevant to its management of assets and delivering effective services to its community. And 2, delegates to the CEO all powers to enter into negotiations on behalf of Council to acquire a parcel of land in fee simple in Bowen, and B, to take any incidental steps to gain approvals under legislation for the arrangement if required. I put to the vote. Those in favour? The motion is carried unanimously. Item number 12.4, sole supplier listing update major projects. Move Councillor Finlay, second Councillor Clifford. The motion that Council resolves in accordance with section 235A and 235B of the Local Government Regulation 2012 that is satisfied that DuPont D. Nemours and Allen Dickinson Services are sole suppliers and that they are added to the sole supply register for the 2025-26 financial year, and delegate authority to the CEO in accordance with section 257 of the Local Government Act 2009 to enter into contracts, negotiate, finalise and execute any and all matters related with or in relation to sole suppliers subject to Council's normal procurement policies and practices. I put to the vote. Those in favour? The motion is carried unanimously. Very good. Okay, moving on to item number 13 of our agenda, matters of importance. Would any councillors like to raise any matters of importance? I'll just start with what I've got on my notes, if that's all right, and I've got Councillor Finlay has 3 matters of importance, so I'll give the floor to you, Councillor Finlay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to show first. Yep,
well, everyone will get their turn.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of matters of importance related to, I guess, the Bowen area. One, Mr. Mayor, just after an update on the designs of the plans for Mullers Lagoon Master Plan. What it is, we've got $150,000 in the budget this year for the designs of it, and with money in the budget for next year to actually go ahead with it. So what I'm just seeking an update on, and on the basis that hopefully once the designs are done, that we can go out to tender and have construction starting in the early new part of the new financial year, taking into consideration that we have a wet season in January and February. So ideally, it'd be correct to have some of these pathways completed by December 2026. So you want me to do that first?
So we've probably who's going to answer that one there or respond to that? It sits within capital.
It's a shared.
Chairman?
How about we start with the asset owner first?
Through you, Mr Mayor, thank you for your question, Councillor Finlay. Yes, there is currently funding for design of the 25-26 program. Construction is slated for 26-27. Timing at this stage was to complete the design work before the end of the financial year in relation to be able to bring that forward to commence early in the new financial year. I'll hand that piece of the puzzle over to Tony to that answer that.
Tony?
So in terms of the project itself, the project manager is engaged with internal stakeholders in terms of the prioritisation and the key stages. We're preparing construction documentation for areas 1, 2, 3 and 5 and develop a concept plans for those areas so that way we can work out the specifications at the moment. So we're still aiming to have that all completed before June 30th. As you say, to go to market as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Looking forward to that project, and it's a great project for around the Mothers Lagoon area. I guess the second one is in relation to the front foreshore master plan and the implementation plan that the CEO has been delegated to do, and specific in relation to replacement of the shelters. And Mr. Mayor, the current shelters are beyond a state of disrepair. They are survived the cyclone again, but so my understanding is there some designs for new shelters on the basis that at the moment we've got single ones down there. These could be like a multi type of thing complex. So just curious on the update on that, and the funding coming out of the asset renewal program for the 25-26 year. Will some of that be allocated towards this project?
Thank you. If I can talk for your question, Councillor Finlay. I think this one's more of a Gary than a capital. So my understanding of the program at the moment is that all of our available renewal funds for 25-26 and 26-27 have already been allocated against projects, which doesn't include the Barwon foreshore shelters. If we have savings in 25-26, we can have a look at what we redirect those funds towards. At this stage, we're planning to put in bids matching the palette and the landscape of the Barwon foreshore master plan in 27-28. If the assets can't be sweated that long, we'll need to think about revisiting the works program. So at this stage, we're likely to sweat them for another 18 months to possibly 2 years and monitor them as we do at the moment. But that's the current status of the available funds to do renewals using our depreciation expense. So if we have savings, we'll be replacing them earlier. But at the moment, they're not included in the renewals program for the current or next financial year. Obviously, that's a decision for council in relation to setting the capital program. The council wants to bring it forward, but that's the current thinking around the time frame for replacement or for new structures to be constructed. He's not talking like you're talking about a desire for bigger and better.
You're going to something different?
I want to stay on this topic, Mr. Mayor.
Question.
You go first.
Yeah, that's a little, sorry, through the mayor. That's probably a little bit concerning, because this isn't new capital, this is just renewal. So we should have a bucket of money to replace this when it's needed.
To Mr. Mayor, your renewals calculation is based on the overall asset, and it's again, I've only been here for 2 years. There's stuff we've been sweating. All I can do is tell you what our current thinking is in relation to our prioritisation. We have to prioritise playgrounds first. If you don't replace some of our playgrounds as they reach end of their useful life, you've got to pull them out. So if it's a case of wanting to prioritise this work and make additional money available on top of what's available for depreciation, but again, depreciation and thinking that every asset there's going to be money in the bank to renew every asset the day it falls due depends on a whole heap of decisions that were made a long time ago. So it's not as simple as that. But if it's council's highest priority, we would have to come back to you and talk to you about what we would forego. All we're telling you is what we've currently done with the current program based on managing all the depreciation, all the consumption of useful life of assets and trying to manage playgrounds and everything else that comes under that same portfolio of funding. Yeah. So we treat parks and gardens as a whole and we renew assets. Again, whilst they're in a state of disrepair, we believe that we can monitor and maintain. If that's not to council's satisfaction, we've got to go and do something.
Mr Mayor expressed the same concerns as Councillor Wright here, and I don't think I can wait 2 years, Mr Mayor, to have a replacement shelter down there that's already been built back in 2008, 2009, so it's 15, 16-year-old, whatever they are down there, and very, very lack of maintenance over the last few years that happened to them. So I think when it comes to our budget table discussions, Director of Corporate Services there, that with this renewal bucket, I would like to review that and see what is actually in the renewal program for the next 2 budgets as well. So I think I'd certainly like to review that. And as councillors, if we need to make a decision on that around the table, then I'll be happy to move a motion in that regard, that we do put some funds into the replacement of these shelters down there. Mr Mayor, that Barham Foreshore land is prime tourist area for Barham, and it needs to look spick and span. At the moment, it's deteriorated, lack of maintenance, everything like that. We need to make that spick and span down there and make it really good and not cover things up. So I'll leave that, park that up for the moment, but during our budget discussions for Capital Works, certainly I'll be bringing that forward, and I hope I get the support of the council around the table as well on that one. Mr Mayor, the other matter of importance is the Powell Street between Herbert and Gregory Street. This has come up many, many times over the years, probably previous council as well, but I also brought this up sometime last year, and I just want to get an update on the design and the scope of that. I know it's going to be a huge project, but when we had that footpath discussions with the CBD plans, it came up in that, and it was listed on there, so I just want to get an update on where we want to be with the designs on that one.
As well. Mr Mayor, sorry, I'm just looking for a document. Thank you for your question, Councillor Finlay, through you, Mr Mayor. A couple of things. Power Street design is a principal cycleway network design, so it's from Leichhardt Street across to Hay Street. So that design was completed and submitted to TMR, who deemed it not to comply with the cycleway network design requirements. So staff had been having a conversation looking at alternate options following ongoing questions by community. I need to deal with one piece of the puzzle, and that is there is no planned pedestrian crossing being designed or investigated in Power Street. I don't know where that assumption comes from, but at the moment the only design work we're doing for Power Street, the only funding I had was for cycleway network, principal pedestrian network. So I'll take that offline, Councillor, and talk to you, but there's no design work being done for a pedestrian crossing in Powell Street. Trying to deal with Powell Street in relation to gutter levels and the like. My staff continue to assess options, but at this stage we don't think we're going to be able to proceed with a cycleway and principal pedestrian network. It may be best to hand the money back, because if you don't proceed, you're not supposed to continue with the grant funding for the design work, and it really is a most likely a requirement for master planning of Bowen CBD, because the grades on the hills, the height of the footpaths, the curb and gutter rather, managing the footpath, it's a much bigger project than what was envisaged in the money that we have available, which is designed for the footpath itself. So I apologise for any confusion as I've tried to unpack it. I've got a very, very lengty detailed response that my team was pulling together with a couple of staff changes and trying to unpack where that one's at. And if it suits council, I'll circulate that once I finish. Once I've ensured myself that we're able to own the response that we're about to give. Yeah. But my thing is, there's no footpath. Sorry, there's no pedestrian crossing being designed, and we're probably going to have some issues with the funding source for what we're investigating. And I think my recommendation is going to be to council at some point that we need to do a streetscape plan and an overarching upgrade strategy for Bowen to deal with each of the side streets and improve the footpath in each of the side streets, which is going to be a significant body of money and a significant design investigation process. The other thing I'd say is that there has been a range of historical investigations in Powell Street within the Bowen CBD, where there's previous council resolutions to go and install disabled parks, which was then revoked. So this problem in relation to compliant disabled parks, issues with slope, issues with high gutters, issues with repairs to the footpath has been ongoing for some time. I'm trying to unpack it.
Councillor Rowe.
Thank you through the chair. Look, I'm not in favour of doing master plans for the side streets. Like, I just want to get the design and let's get on with it. Yeah, look, we know the streets that we have to work on. The town looks great. It does need probably a bit of maintenance, but apart from that, look, I think we just need to work on getting the footpaths compliant. That's the main thing. Like, it is a safety concern because it doesn't meet today's standards.
So just to clarify, Director Murphy, so what does TMR actually knock back? Just
It's a design we've come up with in relation to building a principal cycleway network along
along Power Street.
Yeah,
So
so
that
yeah, we can't make it compliant.
So what, just so I'm clear, the key elements here have been obviously the cycleway network, the footpath, which is the safety concern, and the pedestrian crossing. Is that right?
Where's
I've
the?
never really come across the
No, so it's just
footpath. It's the footpath, the drainage, there's a big,
Yeah.
the old,
Just so I'm clear. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
it's the footpath and the drainage that's been, have to take a look down there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, but when Councillor Finlay started asking the question, he definitely referred to a pedestrian crossing, and certainly in the communication we've got, it actually asked the question about where is the pedestrian crossing up to. So that's why I'm responding to that. He said, I'm glad we're on the same page, and that is there isn't a pedestrian crossing proposed. Yep.
Right.
Can I add that then? So based on the feedback from the divisional councillors, it's not okay if all we're doing is coming up with a price to repair footpath, curb, and we've got to do a drainage design. It's around whether or not, there's, if council's not particularly worried about the streetscape and it's, come up with a solution and cost it, then that's where we'll progress.
Yeah, that's simple as that.
So your concerns are primarily safety concerns at this stage rather than an aesthetic concern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, did you have something there, Michelle?
Yeah. Thank you. Through the chair, I would like this to be a motion, if we can please, Mads, to vote on it. So I'd like to present at the next briefing session the full and in-depth results and feedback from the last staff survey conducted last year. I know that it is coming up in the briefing after this, but just based on the last briefing that we had on this, we got next to nothing. So I can't ask for it again for another month. So I just want to make sure, I'd like everyone to vote on this to get the actual feedback and results. If what's being presented today is adequate, then this motion, there's nothing more to do. But if we're not happy, then we'll get to see next week more in depth. So yeah, if we could please type that up, Mads, to present at the next briefing session the full and in-depth results and feedback from the last staff survey conducted last year in Q2, please.
So present to the next briefing session to bring to council, or to
No,
bring to a
I
line
just wanted a briefing session so we can see what's going on. Yeah.
And that's what we've got today.
Yeah, and like that, I'm aware of that, but just based on what we were presented last time, it was nothing. So I just want to make sure that what we get presented today, if it's the full in-depth feedback and results, then great. Like this motion's been carried out.
I guess given she's moving a motion, is there any seconder for the motion?
Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Yep.
Do procedure on this.
Yep.
Whilst I agree with where Councillor Michelle's coming from and probably the report this afternoon, I'm not in agreement with motions coming from general business. I'm happy to have notice of the motion, as I intended to have one, and I'll withdrew that, but that should be the full power deal of that.
I'm in agreement with you, Councillor Finlay. I think if we're getting this briefing and you're not happy with what's presented, then I would suggest you move a notice of motion ahead of the next meeting.
But just so everyone's aware, like every time we do a notice of motion, that takes an officer's time and it's money, and like we've got an avenue to, like I'm not asking to spend any money, all I want is the feedback from the results. So I think this is the less, like we're all trying to find cost savings at this point in time, so this is the avenue to do it.
I'll say, I'm just coming back to Councillor Finlay's comment, I'm not supportive of motions being raised in general business through the course of the meeting as a procedural matter.
So can we vote on this?
We can. But you'll need a seconder. Is anyone seconding the motion that's there?
Mr. Mayor, this is a difficult one, because, I mean, I'd be happy to second it, but I don't agree on the principle of having motions in general business. Because otherwise I could just move a motion to
whenever you want.
run my front bench.
Exactly.
Yep.
But that costs money. I'm not asking to spend money, I'm just asking for information.
Okay. Yep. Very much same frame of view, Councillor Finlay. So Councillor Collins, did you have something to add, Councillor Bowman?
Just to speak to it, we have the ability to do requests. A request can be done at any time, and they have a requirement to do that unless CEO wants to say it's unburdened. And a lot of the things I see here in general business can just be done as requests. I don't know if people want to do it for the camera. I don't know if they don't want to put it in writing and allow it to go through that level, but a request solves this problem without going through, because whether it can be shared with every councillor or it can go just to you as a request, but you're allowed to make those requests. You don't need a resolution.
We've done that and we didn't get the information that we wanted. Like we had a briefing session, it was nothing.
But, what you're proposing now, you just need to put in a request.
But yeah, we shouldn't have to. We should be able to get given the information when it's presented to us.
All right, we'll move through this one if you like. So Councillor Collins, just confirming you're happy to be seconded? Yeah. Yep, okay. Any further commentary on the motion being put forward? Okay, so the motion that Council present in the next briefing session, the full and in-depth feedback and results from the last staff survey from Gallup. Put to the vote. Those in favour? Those against? The motion is lost. So any other matters of importance for this meeting? Okay, all said and done, I'll declare the meeting closed at 1:52 p.m. Thank you. So I think